Yeah, we're going to take some phone calls. There's so much things are going on that we know the people them want to vent and let go and release. So we'll get a chance to vent, let go and release. Meanwhile, we do this. Fast as usual. So, remember that tune there? That tune there did make it big. Yes. Okay, so as we say, we'll take some phone call. You know, we have some word to come up right there. So we're supposed to interview a lady about these child abuse incident. We'll see go on about the place. Randy Valentine, out of England. Brand new tune. So here we're going to play this. We're going to play this. Listen.
Half are children under the age of 5. What is happening in Congo is a silent Holocaust.
Yes. What is happening? And it's a long time it's happening now. It's just that we have replay the things them to remind you. Because we play that thing there many times before. But things don't get better yet because Rwanda sending troops down there and is amplifying the situation with the British and the French. Meanwhile, them rape the land. How long are them things never go on, man? We said too long now. But you push a dog around for so long, one day that dog is going to turn and bite you. Yeah, one day it's going to turn and bite you. So we continue to play.
Renaissance. Most people think that the United States was, from the very beginning, dedicated to the idea of racial equality. Yes, they say there was slavery and segregation, but we were always working to fulfill the promise of all men are created equal. Of course, Thomas Jefferson, who wrote those words, was a slaveholder who didn't think the races were equal at all. But that phrase from the Declaration of Independence will haunt his memory forever. Not many people know that in 1776, there were black slaves in all 13 colonies and in the entire New World, from Canada to the tip of South America. In 1770, 40% of the white households in Manhattan owned slaves, and there were more slaves in the colony of New York than in Georgia. 9 of the first 11 presidents were slaveholders. The 2 exceptions were John Adams and John Quincy Adams. Jefferson thought slavery was a bad thing and that slaves would eventually be freed, but he wanted freed slaves sent back to Africa. There's a quotation from him on the wall of the Jefferson Memorial that goes like this: "Nothing is more certainly written in the book of fate than that these people are to be free." Well, in the original, Jefferson didn't stop there, adding, "Nor is it less certain that the 2 races equally free cannot live in the same government." That part has been conveniently forgotten. He wanted blacks deported and separated from whites so that they would be, and I quote, "beyond the reach of mixture." James Madison agreed. He wanted the U.S. government to buy up every slave and deport them. After he served as president, he ran the American Colonization Society, which was set up to send blacks back to Africa. At the inaugural meeting of the society, Henry Clay explained its purpose, quote, "to rid our country of a useless and pernicious, if not dangerous, portion of the population." Some of the most famous early Americans were not just members of the Colonization Society, they were officers. Besides Madison, there were Andrew Jackson, Daniel Webster, Stephen Douglas, William Seward, Francis Scott Key, Winfield Scott, and John Marshall. James Monroe worked so hard to help freed American slaves leave the country and establish Liberia that grateful Liberians named their capital Monrovia in his memory. The founders wanted blacks out and whites in. After the U.S. Constitution was ratified, the very first United States Congress had to decide who could be an American. They passed a law that said only, quote, "free white persons could be citizens of the new country." Blacks couldn't be citizens even if they had been living in the colonies for generations. It took an amendment to the Constitution in 1868 for blacks to become citizens. And American Indians didn't finally become U.S. citizens until 1924. From colonial times on, there was strong opposition to mixed-race marriage. Massachusetts prohibited miscegenation from 1705 to 1843 and repealed the ban only because people thought it wasn't needed. They thought the idea of mixing was so repellent that no one would do it even if it were legal. Of the 50 United States, 44 at one time had laws prohibiting interracial marriage. White people did not want blacks to vote. In 1855, there were 31 states in the Union, but blacks could vote only in 4. All of them were in New England. And together they had only 4% of the total black population of the country. The federal government made sure that blacks couldn't vote in the territories. When Oregon joined the Union in 1859, its constitution stated that no black person could come live in or even visit the state. But Abraham Lincoln, the great emancipator, didn't he believe in racial equality? No. During the Lincoln-Douglas debates, he said this, "I am not, nor ever have been, in favor of making voters or jurors out of Negroes, nor of qualifying them to hold office, nor to intermarry with white people. There is a physical difference between the white and black races which I believe will forever forbid the two races living together on terms of social and political equality." Lincoln agreed with Jefferson. He wanted to free the slaves and then deport them. In 1862, Lincoln had the Civil War on his hands, but he was so worried about what to do with free blacks that he named a commissioner on immigration and sent him off to look for countries that would take in the blacks he wanted to be rid of. He also sent a message to Congress calling for free blacks to be deported. U.S. presidents usually say only bland, non-controversial things. Well, this is what some of them said about race. James Garfield wrote, "I have a strong feeling of repugnance when I think of the Negro being made our political equal, and I would be so glad if they could be colonized, sent to heaven, or got rid of in any decent way." Theodore Roosevelt wrote that he had, quote, "not been able to think out any solution to the terrible problem offered by the presence of the Negro on this continent." As for Indians, he said, quote, "I don't go so far as to think that the only good Indians are the dead Indians, but I believe 9 out of 10 are, and I shouldn't inquire too closely into the health of the 10th. William Howard Taft once told a group of black college students, "Your race is adapted to be a race of farmers, first, last, and for all times." Warren Harding thought the races would always be separate. Quote, "This is not a question of social equality, but a question of recognizing a fundamental, eternal, inescapable difference." Harry Truman wrote, "I am strongly of the opinion that Negroes ought to be in Africa, yellow men in Asia, and white men in Europe and America." He also referred to the black servants in the White House as, quote, "an army of coons." Dwight Eisenhower told Supreme Court Justice Earl Warren he understood why Southerners wanted segregated schools. They didn't want, quote, "their sweet little girls to sit in schools alongside some big black box." He said that what he regretted most about his 8 years as president was sending federal troops to Little Rock, Arkansas to enforce school integration. It's not until John Kennedy, elected in 1960, that we have a president with views on race that just might be considered acceptable today. Because now, of course, we are supposed to think that race doesn't even exist. And even if it did, it would be immoral to base any decision on race. As I think I've made clear, this is a very recent way of thinking. From colonial times right up through the mid-20th century, virtually all white people believed race was an essential part of the American identity. They understood that people of different races are different and build different kinds of societies. They thought only Europeans would make the United States the kind of country that they would want to pass on to their children. So, there are two views. There is the consensus on race that lasted for more than 300 years, and there's today's view that races are perfectly equal and interchangeable, and that American can become black, Hispanic, Asian, Muslim, Hindu, anything at all. And not only will it be still America, it'll be better than ever. Well, which view is correct? Just look around. Read the news. I think you'll find the answer. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to our
serious thing. Racial issue is still a problem. Even though some people are trying to cover it up and I tell people like me that we are living in the past. I not living in the past. I accept that the past happened. And it's the past why some things are happening righteous or no. And we have to understand that. And not living in no past. You know, we realize that something happened in history that need to be fixed. It need to fix. Yes, it need to fix. And people are going like it don't need to fix, but it need to fix. That is what we are saying. We are continuing the journey. Listen.
Right. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for a very warm welcome. Well, my name is Don John, and I have little tolerance for racism. I've spent much of my working life identifying it, addressing it, and confronting it. You could say it's been my life's work. I intend to share with you why I think black history matters, not just to me, but also to you. Yes, I know that Black Lives Matter has occupied the centre ground in race politics in recent times, and it certainly has got everyone's attention. But it is an appreciation of our history that helps us to understand its relevance. I'm going to break this presentation up into three parts. Firstly, awareness, then discovery, and then delivery. Okay, black, 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 and even more black. How does that word make you feel? Does it already invoke emotions that you're a little unsure of? Some say the trouble really started when coloured people turned into black people. So what does that tell us? I think it was Walter Benjamin who said, history is written by the victors. So what does that mean to a black boy who was raised in a culture dominated by the myth of the Commonwealth? I went to a grammar school, didn't do me any harm, and studied Latin, Greek, ancient history, and the victories of the empire. So where was my black history? Okay, picture this. A world where black people are up to 37 times more likely to be stopped and searched than white people. A world where black people are 3 times more likely to be arrested than white people. A world where black people are 44% more likely to be detained under the Mental Health Act than white people. A world where black people are 3 times more likely to be unemployed than white people. We seem to be somewhere between the mad and the bad, or perhaps both. Now, my father was one of those proud Africans where status and position was everything. And he believed religiously, yes, religiously, in education, education, and education. Can't believe I'm quoting Tony Blair, but what was I thinking of? School gave us a world where the pink bits on the map on the world map was the context that underpinned our understanding of that world. Africa was the dark continent where they all lived in mud huts and they travelled by swinging from tree to tree. And white Tarzan was the king of the jungle in black Africa. And Christianity was a step towards our salvation. I always remember that iconic image of Stanley meeting Livingstone. Do you remember that picture? Like two great gods, a civilizing influence in this dark, dark world. I guess the context of my Sierra Leonean background should have given me a greater understanding, but the heroes we were reminded of were people like Sir Walter Raleigh and Francis Drake. Remember those guys? The English hero who coolly played bowls when the Spanish Armada was approaching, but casually said he had to finish the game. How very English. And it was only later that I learned that he was a pirate and a slave and well invested in the slave industry. I was shocked, and he certainly was not my kind of hero. Furthermore, the history we learned was the shame of slavery, and we were constantly reminded that our own black people assisted in the process of our historical enslavement and subjugation. So was this my black history? Well, this was the family plan. My older sister was to become a solicitor, and she did. My younger brother was to go to Oxford, and he did. And I was to become a doctor. We know what happened to that plan. However, hallelujah, I was saved, and I joined a place called Her Majesty's Treasury and ended up working in the Chancellor's office. And the Chancellor at that time was a guy called Dennis Healy. What an experience for a young black man. The only young black man in a sea of pinstripes and moral certitude, a world where those pink bits on the map were ever so important. And when I left the Treasury, I took that damn map with me. I've still got it in my room, actually, at home. One thing about the map was Great Britain was disproportionately larger than it really was, strange it may seem. And it actually was in the centre of the world. And that line from the glorious hymn, Rule Britannia, echoed in my head. You remember that one? Britons never, never, never shall be slaves. Always wondered what that was all about and started to suspect something was afoot. Strange times. However, it was the civil rights movement of the 60s and the 70s that woke me from my slumber, where I voraciously consumed literature from people like Alex Haley, Eldridge Cleaver, Bobby Seale, Frantz Fanon, Angela Davis. And as a young man, I absolutely loved it. I was awake, or so I thought. However, it was the arrival of a remarkable young man who doubled our numbers in the Treasury. There were two of us in there now. It's almost like a riot, isn't it? And focused that new state of awareness. His name was Linton Kwesi Johnson, and the history of his footprint is a matter of public record. Though at that time the Kwesi bit had not been born. So what did we do? We wrote poetry, we went to bookshops, but more than anything else, we supported each other in that sea of what I call blinding whiteness. Linton left and went to Goldsmith, and I asked myself, what on earth was I doing there? My life had been enriched by this greater knowledge and awareness, and I also left and decided to go to the Caribbean for 6 months or so and discovered a world where black people had some say in their own destiny and were seemingly more connected to their black history mostly. But, as they say, the first step towards change is awareness. And the knowledge of our black history was starting to make some kind of sense. Okay, discovery. We're getting close to what black history means to me. My work in race relations in Southampton was a logical next step in my desire to immerse myself in matters relating to my black culture. And this city of Southampton gave me the means to explore that heritage and history at a grassroots level, and in an environment where I felt that I could make a difference. Fertile ground. Southampton at that time was still confused about who these black people were, why they all lived in Derby Road, and those who know Southampton know exactly what I mean, and why the area they lived in was called the jungle. I do recall when I was making a film about black unemployment in the early 80s with a local ITV company, the editing room was labelled Coon's Cabin, and that was the way things were at that time. This was a time when there was a heightened level of consciousness, and black youth were flexing their newfound pride and were more sensitised to the experiences that their parents had endured stoically. However, these young people had no time for the stiff upper lip and just wanted to kick some ass. And they did. And I helped them. Bad person. Black pride and a sense of black history were the tools we deployed, and a deep desire to recognise and confront the injustices that were a way of life for black communities. This was becoming a crucial part of my black history. So why did these black people keep going on about black this and black that? And why was this assertion of who they were so disturbing for many? The assertion of that consciousness was certainly a threat, and black people became more organised partly through the support of race equality organisations and empathetic local people, and started to challenge the accepted norms in the major institutions like the local authorities, the police services, health and social services and others. The political climate at that time nationally played its part in disavowing racist opinion, unlike the political situation we have in the here and now. There was a time, indeed, when black studies was an essential part of our cultural education in the black communities, and we clenched our fists and we wailed and protested and marched, and many of you, white people, marched with us, and this did make a difference. Perhaps the assertion of our real black history is our new form of protest. Delivery. The Black History Movement was formally celebrated in Southampton from 2005, even though there were random acknowledgements prior to that. However, the real confusion again was who was it for? And who was allowed to celebrate it? Some white people felt that they should not intrude in this private grief. Some people of mixed race were unsure whether they should get involved, and would they be betraying the white side of their family? And some black people were embarrassed about us going on about this black stuff all the time. It just made things bad for black people who'd quietly found a place for themselves by not making too much noise. Nonetheless, there were many black and white who welcomed this and have contributed to what we have now. In the first couple of years, Black History Month kicked off with, yes, a still band with white people, and of course a slavery exhibition. It seems more embarrassing now than it did at the time. However, it gradually coaxed white Southampton citizens into accepting the idea of loads of black people coming together in a large group without being policed and not singing and dancing. The main objectives of Black History Month were and still are to promote the knowledge of black history. You'd be surprised at what people don't know. In fact, many people still believe that Egypt is not in Africa. They really don't believe that. Second thing, to disseminate information on positive black contributions. Because you see, the knowledge of what black people have done must influence people's perceptions of what black people are capable of. And thirdly, to heighten the confidence and awareness of black people in their cultural heritage, an inevitable consequence. Now, the key thing that many failed to grasp initially was this was just not our history, but a history that belonged to all of us. And we in the South played a crucial part, and such information is available if you choose to look for it. So let us just look at relatively basic information that does not fall so easily into our laps. Black inventors, for starters. The three-way traffic light and the gas mask, invented by Garrett Morgan, a black man. The Three Musketeers, a book, a film, a play, Alexander Dumas, a black man. The blood bank that we depend on so much for our health, Charles Drew, a black man. The guitar, Robert Fleming Jr., a black man. The lawnmower, J.A. Burr, a black man, and many, many more. I can go on and on about black inventors that people don't know anything about. Of course, there will be many who will seek to debunk all of these, much in the same way Napoleon's soldiers thought that if they smashed the noses from the Sphinx and early Egyptian statues, and we didn't notice, they could erase the African history of the Egyptian civilization and dwell academically on the possibility of alien intervention. Because, of course, black people could never have the technical expertise to construct the pyramids of Giza. Always reminds me of Muhammad Ali's classic answer to why, as a child, he always saw images of white angels and never black angels. And he suggests that they were obviously in the kitchen making the milk and honey, as they do. Nonetheless, black history does more than tick in the boxes of accomplishments. It provides us with a sense of who we are and therefore who we can be. Unfortunately, we still have an issue about our identity. And back in the day, if we were not white, we were black. And it was much simpler. Complexion was less relevant. Malcolm X being a classic example, light-skinned, but at that time, one of the blackest men on the planet. Yes, I concede that it is now fashionable to have several cultural identities, and people are quite rightly proud of all aspects of these identities. However, sometimes I wonder how far the black aspects of these many identities are relegated to the periphery of our consciousness.
Analysis and summary. Very, very important. And when we listen to these things, we don't play them just through. We just want to have something to play, We deliberately select certain things for the listener to listen to. As a matter of fact, that talk was a TED Talk, for those of you who know about TED Talks. That was a TED Talk that I listened to. And I said, no, the people them have to hear this. So we play it, and we hope it makes it have meaning to you, especially in this time of ignorance. We want to take a break and come forward. Yes.
Okay.
So we spoke half here about a problem that you talk about, some abuse.
Yes.
With children in school. Make we hear it.
All right. I want to ask you a question. Do you know that corporal punishment is still going on in the school? It is rampant? Are you fully aware?
I don't know about rampant, but occasionally we hear of it. Occasionally we hear teachers go across the line and hit children, and we know that's not supposed to happen according to the Ministry of Education.
Well, I just want to know that, based off of my experience with my child, I had been, being traumatized about the information that my child brought to me. And not only that, I verify with the teachers if something like that happened for true, and I was told yes. So my child was going to start out last year, and he attended a primary school. for the first time, he started there at age 5, right? Because he was going to summer class and he was being beaten by a teacher at that particular school, right? When he started going to the school officially, why people might want to know why I continue to send him there. An apology was given. He was taken in the class, and the teacher apologized for beating him. So the principal is fully aware and everything, because the principal went and spoke back to the teacher, and an apology was given. So I thought that it wouldn't be repeating. I thought that the principal would have done the necessary to ensure that it does not repeat. So within the first week of September now, when he officially, started going to class, before the week even done good, that was a Thursday, I picked up my son, and he told me that his official teacher, that's another teacher now, beat him with ruler and thump him on his right hand. Right?
What was the cause of that? Why she do that?
Her issue is that the child would not stay one place.
Oh, yeah?
Right? So, I realized that with these teachers, it's like and even though my child is a little more energetic than the rest, it appears, she still has no right to be putting her hands on my child. So I went there to verify what my son had said, because I believed my son. But nevertheless, I took the initiative to speak to the teacher. I did send her an email about it, and she told me to come and see her. That's the Friday morning. Remember, that's the first week in September. So I went and spoke to her, and she said to me that she's not disputing what my son had said, and she's not saying that my son is lying. Right there, she admitted, doing what I'd said my son. Right? So in the interim, while speaking to her, the principal came, and the security officer was saying to him that, because our child was beaten, that is why she's in the school at these hours, and she's trying to speak to the teacher about it. But as you see the principal's attitude, he didn't care. He wanted me out of the school, and he started
watch out of the school. When said to you?
Well, he started shouting at the teacher, saying that she's not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be here entertaining or speaking to any parents at this time. You're supposed to be attending to the students. So he basically disregarded everything that the security had said to him, because I told the security what the issue was. And so it was clear to him. And remember, it had happened before. So he is fully aware of me. So eventually, he kept repeating himself, and the teacher had submitted to him and decided that, we should continue the conversation. So she went back to our student, and I had to leave. Right? So he had no regards to, my child at all being injured or being beaten in his school. Within about the second and third week, what I tried to make, try to have other communication with him read matter. I didn't get a chance to speak with him, so I contacted the Region 6 officer, right? However, my experience with the Region 6 officer, she didn't really interested in what I had to say. She just telling me the principal say. She didn't care about what I had to say. So, as I said, within about the third week or so in September, because he gone to school because it has been, traumatizing him, and my child even wake up crying out, as if the teacher still beating him.
Oh, what the child is?
My child was 5 at the time.
Okay. And how old the child is today? No. Hello?
Yes, my child is 6 years old.
6 years now?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So, my child got injured in the school. Another child pushed him down, right, from a higher grade, and his head hit on a rock. That is
hit on a rock?
Yes. And you could see the you could see the swelling, and he was also bleeding on other parts of his body.
So you never came to doctor?
No, they didn't. As a matter of fact, when I got there, my child was there all by himself. Nobody was coaxing him. Nobody was attending to him or anything.
No, but hold on. The child, he made upon a rock. According to what you say, right?
Yes, in the school.
And he was bleeding.
Yes.
And nobody know nothing about it more than him just sit down there and cry?
No, none of the adults did anything. When I entered the institution, I saw another boy taking him further inside, but I didn't know it was my child because I only see the back of the older child taking him in. I didn't know it was my child until I get up further, looking for my child and not seeing him. So I said, you know what, let me go see where that child is crying. And that's when I realized that is my child, because he was, out there by himself and all the adults was one side looking at him.
So when you see him there, so you don't go back to the teacher then? You don't go to the teacher?
When I didn't even have time to go to the teacher. I called out to my son. When I saw his condition, he came to me, and one of the teachers came up to me. And you know what she said? No. Tell your mother, say, you're there play.
Tell your mother, say, you're there play?
That is what them approached me. Can you imagine? Can imagine.
All right, so you go to the teacher who said that?
The teacher came to me. I was attending to my son when I saw him in the I called to my son, and he came to me, and the teacher came up to me and said to him, tell your mother, say they are play.
So she never know you was his mother?
When she saw me call out to him and he came to me, she assumed that I am the mother of the child. So she came up to us telling him to tell me that he was playing.
So when you said to him, you said to her when she said that?
I look here, I was so shocked, and to be honest, I didn't even answer her. I just went on, attending to my child, because that could have been fatal for him.
So you never called the police?
I went out with my child. I addressed his wound, and I put some ice on the swelling, and did the necessaries. And when I saw that he calmed down, and I was able to leave him with an adult, and I went back into the school to speak with the principal. I spoke with the secretary. The secretary went to him, and the only thing she came out and tell me is that school is over. So he can't see me. School is over. And I told her what happened to my son. So they just said school is over.
Well, what should I do?
So I went out. Back to my child. I thanked the adult for looking at him, and I went to get some medication for him and so forth. Then I took him to the doctor. Later, I made the report to the police station, of course, about the whole issue with the beating and the injury. I told them everything that happened. I got a ticket. I even reported back to the Region 6 officer. I wasn't really getting anywhere with them. I had to write them to get a decent response.
So how long ago this thing happened? Just last year. Just last year, what do you mean just last year?
This happened last year, September.
Yeah.
Last year, September.
And since that, nothing else happened since that?
It's been just a back and forth, because when he was better and able to go to the school, he complained of constant abuse by the same teacher. He said every day he went to school, the teacher keep putting him to sit on the floor beside the ants. Sit on the floor. Yes, and he complained that the teacher having the other student calling him, saying that he's rude. Yeah, you can't be having all of that in the class.
Wait, hold on. So, you don't think you should have go see a lawyer?
Yes, I haven't taken that step as yet due to...
But from October you talk about now, October, November, December, January, February, we're in a March, you know, almost 6 months.
Yes, that is so true. And as I mentioned before, due to financial constraints, I haven't taken that route.
Well, you have the child advocacy, you know the child advocacy?
I went to them, of course. I went to them.
What happened?
I wrote to them, and I even went up there more than once. I spoke to a legal person up there. And I'm really not getting anywhere with anybody.
No.
I went up to the Region 6 officer, spoke to the supervisor, and you know, everybody's trying to just cover it up, to sweep it under the carpet. Everybody's just being disrespectful when I insist for some justice or for investigation to be done. Not even the Region 6, the ministry, not even an investigation they had kick off in regard to this matter. The last time I spoke to them was in December. I spoke to the minister herself in January this year about the matter, and the minister let me know that should not be happening. That is not something that is allowed in the school. And I did inform her that not even investigate the Region 6 choose to investigate the matter. Can you imagine? Nobody cared. The children advocate has not come out and say, let me advocate for this child.
Who you go to that the children advocacy? Who you go to?
Who I spoke to up there?
Yeah.
Well, I spoke to a legal representative. Do you want me to call her name?
Yes.
I spoke to Miss Green by CD. The children advocate. I spoke to her in regards to the matter. Apart from her, I've spoken to more than one person by phone. But as I said, I went there in person, and I've sat there and I spoke to Miss Green in regards to this matter. I've also written to the OCR about the matter. And do you mind if I call the name of the school?
I don't call the name of the school. I'm going to find a name for you, and tomorrow I'm going to give you a name so you go to her, and you're going to tell them it's me sending it to her.
Yes, I would really appreciate it.
Children advocacy. I'm going to give you a name, a person that you should go to. Because this... So it's only that child alone... Your child alone is treated in that way, or you don't know?
Well, other children are being beaten by the same teacher, you know. But the sad thing is that parents are not talking out. You know, most people say that, you know, it's not going to go anywhere, and it is sad. It is sad that things come up to this way because, you know, when people talk about things, you know, especially in Jamaica, it doesn't really go anywhere, and people experience that. So when things happen, they don't really talk about it. They just suck it up, or you know, and this is why crime can't done. Because corporal punishment, you know, do you know that you're literally teaching a child violence? You're teaching a child violence, you know. You're teaching a child that if something not go your way, or if you don't like something, lift your hand up. Beat or do something that is violent. You are teaching the children violence. There must be a different way to punish the child or to punish a child that does something that you don't want to happen in the class. But you know, the sad thing about it, when I had to pull him from the school, I only got one interview with the counselor there, one interview, and that was in October. And from I left, the counselor has not gotten in touch with me, nothing at all. And the counselor duty is to report matter, especially if she hears that a child is being abused. The counselor said to me that the teacher suggested that I, the parent, should buy a table and a chair so that they can put my child, segregate my child in a corner by himself. They have been abusing my child in many different ways.
Yeah, very, very so.
They have been, and my child, she interviewed my child without my interruption because I turned my back to him, so I allowed her to talk to my child freely. And some of the things that he told her, it is up till now I still can't get over it. You know, he still cries every now and again, and he's going through counseling. He goes to counseling at the victim services division right there in Spanish Town by Oasis Plaza. And I want to tell you, it's like nobody cares. As I mentioned, I've spoken to the minister about it. The PS is fully aware of it. Even the injury. When my relative went over there to get the claim form or to get some compensation for the damage done to my child, the principal will make me know that he's no longer a part of the school, so I'm not busy about that. Can you imagine? Like he wasn't a part of the school when he was injured. I did relay this information to the PS and the minister, and I was told to send them, the PS told me to send the receipt to her so that she can see what, she can start it out. I've sent it a while now, and I haven't even got any response.
How long ago you sent it?
I sent it, I think it was in January. Let me just look back. Let me just check back to give you the exact time when I sent it to her. And that's the permanent secretary. Okay, there she is. I sent the receipt in January, from January 18, thereabout.
Okay, now March.
And I got a response back. I've even reached out back to her in February, about February 16 to be exact, and from January 19, about the same matter, receipts and all of that. And I still haven't gotten any response from her. So.
All right, I'm going to find a specific person to send you to. So I'm going tomorrow when everything right up. I'm going to find that person and send it to that specific person. Okay?
Yes, sir. I really appreciate it. I really need the help.
Further than where they know.
Yes, it is continuing. And let me tell you too, you know, the shocking thing, you know, when I pulled him from the school, I visited about 12 schools. I drove there. I visited 12 schools to see if they were appropriate or they can take my child. My child did the necessary assessment, and he was my son is very bright, so he was very successful in all the tests that he got, right? They wanted him. But I couldn't allow him to go to the school. Why? Because all of them said them beat Pitney. So I have to tell him, I said it's the wrong school. Say again?
All of the school them to them beat children.
Yeah, 12 schools. And they said them beat Pitney. I contacted by phone a total of over 16 schools, both in St. Catherine and Kingston. And basically, all of them said the same thing. Some of them try to go around it, but then come back around and I say, but the teacher might get frustrated and, you know, might beat him. And it is shocking. It is shocking. I got my son into a school in about the late January, and an incident already.
All right.
Proper punishment has never been abolished.
Yes, sir. Call tomorrow and so far we can go with it, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we'll keep in contact with you and see how I can go and push this further. So that's so now here.
Yes, it is frightening. It is happening. It is happening here in Jamaica. It has never been abolished. Yeah. And as I said, the minister is fully aware. I've written to her. Yeah. I've corresponded with her. I called her and talked to her on the phone. She is fully aware. The PS is aware. Everybody is aware. And when
you tell her about the school them. You tell her the school them where you go to, right?
Yeah, man. She is fully aware.
All right.
She's fully aware. She's fully aware of the school that he got beaten at and the school that he's going now. I haven't listed out the schools that I went to, but I have the list here.
Okay.
I have the list here. So if she wants to know the 12 school or the 16, about 16 schools that I contacted, I made a note of it.
Okay. All right. We have to go now. So I'm going to make the call tomorrow and see what can happen. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank
all
you
right.
very much.
Yeah, man. Give thanks.
Yes.
Yes, big problems that in the schools, corporal punishment still exists. I thought the minister did say them don't know with that. But then again, it's government them name. Anything is possible with these politicians. Government them name. People always believe, say.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Few incidents. Last week, Thursday night, a friend of mine went to the hospital in St. Anne, 3 o'clock in the morning. There was no doctor. He was there until 8 o'clock.
No doctor?
No doctor.
What? How that possible?
Nobody could say what happens to the doctor. Apparently, one doctor was assigned, but he was off. This is 2024, and it's sad to know that for all that long period, no doctor was on board. Besides that, it hurts that we know the situation, Motor, you see? We cannot have a government in this country. People go to a hospital, there's no bed. You got to sit up all hours and hours waiting to see a doctor. We have a University of the West Indies who train almost doctors every year. Before they finish, they go abroad to work. Great. What I'm saying, can't they arrange something that they can put back something to our people? It's beyond disgrace.
But I thought them said they would get over the shortage of doctor problem.
They can tell you what they want to tell you. Anybody can tell you who went to St. Anne Hospital, emergency or not. You got to sit for hours, there's no bed. You got to wait until somebody go home, time and again, 24 hours. You're lucky to see you. I got a friend on my street, he went there, and he was there for so much hours, he dismissed himself and come home. He died a couple of days later.
Oh, yeah?
And all the hospital you go to, emergency or otherwise, you got to wait for eternity. So and if you got to take an appointment, if you got to go there again...
You have any idea what is causing the breakdown?
Bad management.
So them say full Tufton are the most popular minister in doing work.
No, I would like Mr. Tufton to visit St. Anne Hospital anytime and see the situation. There's also a clinic there, you see? The old people got to sit down there how much hours to be attended to. I said to the doctor once, why not have a special doctor for old people? When they come, look after them and make them go on, man. You know,
Right.
these things
But
hurt.
I'm afraid of hospital, you know, like, I don't know how I'm afraid of hospital, so I'm afraid of it.
I tell you, afraid.
Yeah, man.
Another thing again, for you to get an X-ray, for you to get an operation, poor people. No, man, no. It is sickening.
Well, it's that you go to hospital for the sickening, but come like you get worse sick when you go there.
Well, put it this way, you know, it's that the situation as it is, I would like to think we can do better than what we are doing. And I think one of the ways to solve that is at the end of the doctor's term, when they finish the course.
Yeah, make him do a little time.
Yeah, man, put up something in Jamaica and they're subsidized. On the incident, you know, I got a paper yesterday, from a farmers group on what they're saying the AMC gonna diverse the process of how they buy yam or whatever. We should be developing our agricultural system to the highest level we have the land. You know what I say? In Australia, they're digging up clay to put on land to farm. You know, we have the land here unutilized because it's like somebody, we know the system again, why? The farmers should be farmers should be well looked after.
Of course.
And what I'm saying is that I'm hoping the next administration comes on board, whenever they choose to call or what, that every farmer should have access to a tractor. Cutlass and fork can't cut it, man. We can be self-sufficient in food. And I'm looking for the school itself. Could be self-sufficient. The army could be self-sufficient. You know, the amount of students who want to go in the army, they can't go.
Why them can't go?
Nobody care about the poor people.
No, why if them want to go, why them can't go? It can't be that nobody don't care about poor people.
Oftentimes they get an interview and they say they will call them, they don't call them again. Another big program, another big issue again, the past program. Election was coming up and they called people, oh yes, you've been waiting but come in and see us. And they promised to come and see these people. Women with children can't go to school. There are so much bad things that is happening in this big Jamaica, and we want to wake up. This young lady sent her child to school, and because the child didn't have any lunch, the principal said, "I can't give you no lunch, go home." It shouldn't be. We should be able to provide lunch for every child that goes to school. They said that every child must go to school.
But when we used to go to primary school, they used to have free lunch, bowl of slush. They used to have bowl of slush down at school.
Well, if people doesn't care about us, we know people, and this thinking or the squatters, this are going to stop. You see, the land belongs to the people, and everybody know that we're going to take back the land. We're not telling nobody, so we're going to push them off, you know, but there's a lot of vacancy land there. No crown, we don't have no crown of Jamaica. About crown land. In time. No? The other is, there are another, so much bad one. You see? What Israel is doing to Hamas is more than disgraceful. We know what happened to Israel in the past, and they're doing worse than that now. But guess on that now, we know who's backing them. The people, no people anymore is neuter. We African people say take a village to go a child. And we got to get back to our roots. You see the young them, all them do them get up. Men are not going to smoke, Roger. Yeah? Everybody have like something on there and a pound up, a grind up. Great. Are you are saying that? But we must provide employment for everybody because everybody gonna eat. Who want to eat scrap off other people's table? The road again is something else.
Well, if you keep talking, you're gonna find say Jamaica Gone.
No, man. I tell you what, you see? Central St. Mary is my parish, and you have been there with us. And we're looking. By the way, this brother Garvey, he won the local election there, which is great. We're going to support him and see how best we can make something out of that corner.
Which party is from?
Pardon?
Which party is from? Which party?
The socialist, man.
Oh, them have a socialist party?
Comrade, man. Comrade back on stream, you know. We're going to revive the word comrade.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, man. Comrade have a lick shot.
No, but why we don't want a more lick shot about the place, I know?
No, we're not shooting a bird. We're not shooting a bird.
We're not talking about bird or people. We don't want no shooting or going about lick shot.
All right, I'm going to change it. We're gonna see how best we can help to build back this country.
Yeah, but you talk about build back more than lick shot.
Okay. You know, yeah. You know, the thing about it, you know, all we need is a bit of assistance, and it's there. If you notice, I don't know if you look at the stock exchange is doing well. Why?
No, I'm not doing no stock exchange, but man, don't do this at all.
No, they can afford to gamble on it. And the money that's supposed to come to the poor man, they take it and give the big man at the top.
All right, hold on. We could take a break and come forward. We're going to take a break and come. You still there?
Yes. Yeah, man.
All right. Talk quick now because you're gone about 15 minutes already.
Good, thanks. Yeah, the situation, no, the last caller want to be investigated. A young child being, what's a beaten, slap on the hand or what? And every school the mother go to, it's the same kind of situation where people want to know that children is hyperactive, so hyperactive, they have a lot of energy. All children want to do is to eat and play. You imagine they tell Muta to sit down and not move. And you're a big man, you're telling a child must sit down how much hour? No. We got to go back and teach our children properly. The next, another issue is like what Israel is doing. But again, the big horse of life doesn't matter, and might is right. Might cannot be right. If might is right, what happened to right or what happened to wrong? Wrong can never be right. Thanks again. And we say family, worldwide African people, so long as we're black, we must come together and look after one another. The black man have no friend in the white man world.
All right,
get that straight. African love.
Man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, one of my brethren, the great BBC.
Gone.
Yes, because, you know, it was at 8:04 in the morning, Monday the 4th. And I'd looked for him the Monday before and the Sunday before in the hospital, in the Healing Hospital.
Yeah.
You know, because he had been sick for a long while, you know.
Yeah, man, I know, man. I try to line up an interview with him.
Yes, you know. Yes. And, you know, I was glad that I was able to look for him and him talk and thing, and he was saying he was hoping for the best still, to come through.
What did happen to him?
I think it's some kind of cancer, you know.
Cancer?
Yeah, I think it's some kind of cancer. I had an operation, you know, and thing. But I'm glad that, you know, you said you wanted to do an interview with him and so.
Yeah, man, I do one with him years ago, you know, and him called me. Years ago, I do one with him, and him called me and say, at time, him do another interview. And I say, what you mean, man? Of course. But it wasn't to happen. Eh? Never happened.
Him called you recently?
No, not recently, about 2 years ago.
Okay, yes.
About 2-3 years ago, him called me.
Okay, because I have a live story interview with him, you know, which was published in the Mandingo News and Views magazine some years ago, you know what I mean? So I mean, you know.
Well, the death will lick everyone is Morgan. Yeah, Peter Morgan, I mean, terrible thing that.
46. Yeah, 46.
You know, nobody not expect that at all. You know, when you not expect something to happen, it kind of freak you out.
Yes, that is true, you know. So that was very, very old. And you know, and one of the big virgin, them Jackie Paris from the Sensation, singer, you know, he was Earth Strong on the 4th of March to Monday, the same day where Bibi passed there too, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, Jackie Paris, good man.
Yeah, man, my brethren, man, you know, and thing, you know. Yes, and big up my brethren, Percy, who I may let him know, you know, and thing. And you know, Bad Campbell, Alonzo Hart.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's BBC son-in-law, you know.
Oh,
that
yeah?
have children, the daughter, you know, Venetia, you know. Yeah, man. So, I made back no true Percy, you know.
But him not so well, Neil. Like a long time, you know, hear my play out.
Yes.
Long time, you know, hear him play out.
Long time, you know, hear him play out. And, you know, Papa always step on the circuit, you know what I mean? And thing, you know. And so. But, you know, in England here now, the Tories have them lowest ratings for many years. 20%. But the thing about it is that George Galloway in Rochdale with the Tories and Labour because of his support for the people in Palestine. Muslims in Palestine. That he was formerly a Labour stronghold and George Galloway come in as an independent and she must support and be because both Keir Starmer and Richie Sunak first party supporting the Israelis them, you know, in them genocide straight with them going.
Yeah, hold on, I could take a break and come forward. We'll take a break and come forward. Last break.
But then policies in supporting the Israelis in Palestine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know. and years ago when he was attacked as an MP, none of them said anything, you know. He was brutally beaten and things. But now, because people who are protesting and going outside the homes of MPs and stuff, they want to use that as a pretext to prevent people from protesting. People's legitimate right to protest. Say, you know, trying to equate people protesting with being terrorists and that type of thing. Yes. You know, and yet them have the audacity to be talking about Putin in Russia and other places. But they want to use, because people coming out in millions against what's happening in Gaza and so they want to use that as a pretext to stop people from protesting. Yes. You know, that's kind of hypocrisy. You see? You know.
Them fire people feet too. If you get inclination that you defend the God people in Gaza, they want to fire you to find your job.
Yes, exactly. That is what is going on. But what is happening, you know? This thing where them always are used about so-called anti-Semitism, it is stupid because the Arabs are Semites too. So then this anti-Jewish thing, it's no longer working because what they have done in Gaza has alienated the vast majority of people who used to be sympathetic and never even were indifferent to what was going on, you know?
Well, if Israeli against it too.
Yes, a lot of Israelis against it, and the boy Netanyahu, you don't see the split in his cabinet. Because then again, one of him king go to the states to do negotiations without his saying so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let him tell the Israeli embassy people in the States not to assist Benny Gantz. You know what I mean?
Him vex, man.
Yes, him vex, man. Him wicked. The plain truth, as you know, is that they want the Arab Muslims out of Palestine. Is that
Of course,
that?
definitely. Because you know, them all attack the food truck them now. That's kill all about 100 people, them kill the other day.
Yes, 100 people, shoot them down in cold blood because the people rushing to get food. Because it's famine going on in Gaza because of them denying. And you see Britain and the US still using them veto to oppose a ceasefire.
Yeah.
You know? So they are complicit with this war crime thing that is going on. Very, very serious, you know, and things. And in Ghana, it was Ghana's independence. It was the 6th of March, 1957, with President Kwame Nkrumah. The other day, they passed some new anti-homosexual and lesbian bill, and the Ghanaian president has 14 days to sign it into law. But the homosexual and lesbian lobby, the states and saying, talking about he should not sign it because it's a violation of human rights. Eh? Where's the human rights when they're exploiting and killing Africans in Africa, in Congo and elsewhere and things, you know? Hypocritical, you know? Yes, serious thing. So people are standing strong in Ghana in preserving our traditional way, which is a family is a man and a woman, you know?
Of course.
And none of that homosexual, lesbian agenda. You know, like when Barack Obama used to threaten Jamaica and other countries in Africa and the Caribbean that if they don't legalize the practice of homosexuality and lesbianism, is not going to give them no aid and so on. Them tell them to go away. So I praise President Museveni in Uganda, for example, who has told the U.S. to go away because the U.S. cut off aid because them passed some bills, as you know, against the homosexual and lesbian practice thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right.
And he's not trying to get Bobby Wine to come in on it, but Bobby Wine not being drawn to support them and things too, you know, and then we are there. Serious thing, you know. And I want to big up my brethren Courtney in Brooklyn. And if my memory serves me right, you know, Muta, today, the 7th is the birthday, the 80th of Keith from the Silver Tones, you know. Remember Silver Tones group there?
Them down here, you know?
Yes, me know. But I'm a brethren them from Wildman Street. Keith.
They performed last night.
Eh?
They have a performance last night.
Okay. Yes, man. Keith. Silvertones, man. The brethren from Wildman Street is surviving Silvertone leader. Yeah, man. So, the 80s. So, big up every time that is cancer. Yeah,
man.
And things.
All right,
yes,
boy. Let's move.
In London, almost 2 years ago, 2 people died at the Brixton O2 Academy, where Bolivar stage shows feet. It's due to a stampede, a Nigerian mother of 2, and a female security guard and thing. And so it was shut down. But it's after a long shutdown by the authorities, it's due to be reopened next month in April, you know? Yes. You know,
all right, man. We have to move.
Yeah, all right, blessed love. And African people in Jamaica, keep on fighting. Marcus Garvey, solution is the only solution. The African people. Blessed love.
2 p.m. with the stepping razor, the art of war. So, why you join us for that? We don't know. Operator, what is the name of the operator? The engineer. Give me a new engineer, I don't know. So, Come like she afraid to talk on the radio. Or she not listen. Can I get the name of the operator? I mean the engineer. No answer. Sir. Anyway, we give thanks. Give thanks to the moment and the time and the energy. And as I said, we'll be back here from 2 for 5:45 with the stepping razor. Different thing. We intend to interview Alan Cole. Yes, we intend to interview Alan Cole if everything go right. So why look out for that? Look out for that interview. Supposed to be sweet. So we're going to go out with this song. Ease up off of the chant them a little and go to this song right there. Liver. We love how she did it soon, yeah. Where the tune there? What a thing. I can't find it. What the hell is going on here? You know, I'm never going to find it. You could have deal, I'm going to find it, you know. Oh, you're going like you want that from me. I'm going to see if we can find this sooner before the time run off away. You see what will happen when we do this. We could see if we can find it. Here we go. Here we go.